The corporations have not yet won.
Community still exists in small tucked-away areas not often talked about.
Artists and businesses beginning to thrive in places thought to be defeated.
Dave, I like to call him David Francis.
And I, Tom Maslowski,
are here to give you a glimpse of what's going down in downtown J-Town.
We're going to be interviewing all of our favorite musicians,
artists, and business owners
that give every ounce of themselves into what they do.
We are back at Third City Sound for another installment of What's Going Down in Downtown J-Town. We have with us in the studio tonight a very special guest, Mr. John Condron from John Condron and the Old Gang Orchestra. Hello. We are going to let him get started on his first song.
Snow is falling on Lake Michigan, and the lights circle down. She is standing, smoking cigarettes, with her eyes on the ground. You and I, so blue sometimes. All my life, tides they fall, tides they rise. You come next summer in the afternoon, and the world feels alright. Making progress on a porch swing with the lights in her eyes. You and I, so blue sometimes. All my life, tides they fall, tides they rise. Hey. Snow is falling on Lake Michigan, and the lights circle down. She is standing, smoking cigarettes, with her eyes on the ground. You and I, so blue sometimes. All my life, tides they fall, tides they rise. Yeah, you and I, so blue sometimes. All my life, tides they fall, tides they rise. Tides they rise. tides they rise, tides they rise.
Oh, man, that sounded good. This is your host, Tom Maslowski, and with David J. Francis behind the soundboard tonight. Killing it.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Dave. That was, gentlemen, that was nice work with
Yeah,
all the great sonics there.
I was pleased.
John's brand new guitar.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks old. So
What'd you get, man?
it's an archtop actually. It's well, we talked about this earlier when we came in here. I've been fascinated by the sound of old, like kind of 30s and 40s archtops for a long time. And Epiphone Masterbuilt, the Masterbuilt series just put out this brand new collection of guitars where they went back and designed them exactly to the specs of the 30s Epiphone archtops. And I just had to have one, and so I do now, and I'm in love with it, and I just like everything about it. So it's great to have a new toy, and it's great to play around with. It's great to be here tonight with you guys. So
Glad you're here.
I appreciate it.
It was that you made that thing sing. That was great.
Oh, thanks, man.
That
Thanks.
sounds awesome. It does the songs a lot of justice. Like, that is what those songs actually sound like. Speaking of singing, I'm always hearing you sing, and you got all these great stories to all your songs. You are definitely the man of a million stories.
Oh, thanks, man. You know,
One of the ones
you've heard them all, I think.
I've
probably.
heard, yeah. And they're good stories.
Well,
I think
most of them are true, actually. Most of them.
they're nonfiction stories.
My brother used to call me the what did he used to say? He used to call me the great embellisher. Yeah. So he's like, it's not that the things that you say are not untrue. It's just that maybe the way you remember them is a little bit more romantic than the way anybody else was in the room remembers them. So,
Which is what I want to hear
yeah,
anyway.
I'm telling the truth. It's just that I see them through rose-colored glasses, maybe sometimes.
Well, it works out good for all of us. What about you, Dave? Have you heard all of John's million stories?
I am pretty sure I'm familiar with a good majority.
At least 700,000 of the million. Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
I do want to hear one before we get to any of the other ones.
Okay. All right.
We've all it's the first 4 or 5 episodes. I think I'm going to keep on this continuum for a while here. Was the origins of things, and everyone's been coming on. I've been making them talk about themselves and the origin of how they got started. But
Sure.
I think it would be great to hear the origin of this building, Chicago Street Pub,
Right
Third
on.
City Sound.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're talking about
When you came here back from
yeah. So the thing about this and thank you guys for doing this podcast, and thank you guys for kind of championing the scene that's out here now, because it is so vibrant and brilliant, and it's just such a nice thing to be a part of it, and kind of. I think I blinked one day and woke up kind of grandfathered into it all, and kind of as like an old school like an elder statesman of it. And I don't know how that happened. In my mind, I'm still 19, so I mean, I don't know how that happened, but I know that I came out here with a great bunch of human beings from the East Coast in 1997. Now, so that's 20 years ago this year. I think June will probably be the 20th anniversary of us arriving in town.
Wow.
It's a band called Poets and Slaves, and we had a great friend of ours, Rick Ridpath, along with us as well too, who was our sound guru. He was our Dave Francis, who's sitting back there in the room behind the glass, and we came out here and we just. We wanted to be in the Midwest, and the label at the time wanted us in the Midwest, and we came out here to move to Chicago. And
What label was that?
yeah, there's no need to mention that label. I don't think.
Ever. He said,
a label.
No need ever.
No, I'm only kidding. It was Zemu Records, and they sent us out here from. It was a New York-based label, and they sent us out here, or they at least put up with us coming out here. some of the years have fogged some of the memories about it. But I think we came out here and long story short, we one of the guys in the band, Martin Trum, had a connection with a wonderful family out here, and they kind of took us in a little bit, and we found Joliet by default because we were coming back from a Chicago trip where we couldn't find anywhere to stay, and we stumbled upon this. We took a walk one day and came downtown Joliet and found this place downstairs called Chicago Street Bar and Grill at the time, and Mary, who owned the place, and her son Matt were very kind to us, and they served us lunch. There wasn't a whole lot going on down here, and we just happened to mention to them that we were looking for a place to stay and a place to kind of relocate, and they brought us up here to these 2 abandoned floors. The second floor was an old craft store, and this third floor, there's many stories and legends about what this was, but it certainly wasn't this, back then. And so a month later, we kind of packed up the Ryder trucks and drove out from out east, and been here ever since. Well, I have anyway. Been here ever since, and we built this place really kind of with the help from some friends and stuff. We cleared it out, and just decided that it would be a great place for a studio.
And obviously it was. It's been here how many years now? 20 years? 30
I think
years?
it was. It is a great place for a studio, and I just think that maybe it was ahead of its time at the time. I don't think that it wound up. Obviously, it didn't wind up being what we'd hoped it would be at the time. Mm-hmm. And then everybody kind of had their own things going on, and their own projects, and their own lives, and their own schools to finish, and their own careers, and that sort of thing. And everybody kind of one by one went back home, and I stayed. I had the story is that I had a massive kind of like epic bar tab to pay off downstairs, and so I had to stay just to work off that bar tab. Here I am 20 years later, still sitting here with you. So
lesson for all you young musicians out there.
Which is fantastic, actually. I think those guys, if they were here right now, they'd be very very happy about the fact that this place lives on, and that is still is still making music and still kind of doing what it was always intended to do, whether it did it at that time or not. It's doing it now for sure, and so it's I feel very lucky to still be around and to still be part of it.
Yeah, the torch has been carried on by was Dave Lill immediately after you guys?
No. There was years vacant when Martin left, and Martin was the last to go. Besides me, I think the number of people that came out here with the band was called Poets and Slaves. It was a great band, a great bunch of guys. If they do happen to listen to this, I hope they're all doing well, and I'd love to see them all again sometime soon. Maybe we can come back up here and do a show in the studio. That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
But no, Martin was the last to leave, and then there was years where it was dormant. To be honest with you, there was years where there was nothing going on here, and then the first person to my memory that came back up here and used it for what it was supposed to be used for was Brent James. Now with Righteous Hillbillies, but at the time it was Stone City Stragglers, and Brent ran it as a studio, and I think predominantly used it for their own purposes, Sure. But it was active, it was alive, it kind of breathed life back into it again. And then when Brent decided to move out or to leave or whatever, then Dave Lill came in. One Bit Studios was born, and that's kind of the beginning of the rest of it, as far as I'm concerned.
Then now Bill Aldrich of the Vaudevillains is the current proprietor.
Third City Sound Studios. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. We'll have to ask him. Let him tell his own story. But now, how did he?
Well, Billy. Billy's always kind of. I don't remember not knowing Billy, to be honest with you. Yeah. Billy's to be honest with you, Billy's kind of always been around, and he's always been a great talent and a great friend and a great person. And he was always kind of here. And even when Dave had One Bit Studios, and I was doing some solo records up here, where even the early days of the Benefit. Billy was involved in all of those projects. He was involved in actually played with the Righteous Hillbillies. I think he might have even played for a little bit with the Stragglers, like from time to time. He was kind of always a great bass player, a great musician.
He fills in a lot.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays trombone. He's just a great guy, and a real, like, a superb talent, and he's great behind the board as well.
Yeah.
And I think that he was doing a lot of stuff with Dave. When Dave had One Bit Studios up here, like we were doing the Benefit records back in the 10, 12 years ago or whatever now, Billy was always around working with Dave. He was always on all of our records, and he was on my last solo record. Dave kind of headed the show, or Dave was running the thing, but Billy was always around. And then so when Dave left or relocated, Billy stepped in and opened up Third City Sound, and it's really kind of grown from there. Like it's been a huge growth process from there, because I think Billy's the first person that really ever opened it up.
Yeah, get it revved up
to all comers. I mean, I think prior to Billy being here, prior to Third City Sound, it was really kind of a private studio where people, friends of friends, or people that were part of the scene or whatever would kind of come up here and do their records. And Billy's the first person I think that really kind of opened it up to, hey, we have a website and a phone number, and you can come here and record if you want, and kind of made it a legitimate studio like it is now.
And it's very reasonable too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it makes it easy for musicians who are just trying to get a start, that don't have $3,000 to blow on 3 songs. It's great to come and do a whole album and be able to.
It's a mind blowing place, and the quality's unreal, and then bringing in people like Dave, who's sitting back there smiling at me right now. Like,
I'm so on the spot right now, because I'm currently engineering a podcast in Third City Sound. As you guys are talking about how great the quality is, so,
you're like, I don't want to say anything.
This had better sound good.
I think.
Sorry, Dave.
I think that we were talking about Billy.
Bill makes it sound good. So. Yeah, it's been great. There's a lot of shows up here. There's all kinds of rap artists and R&B.
That's the thing, is that Billy's involved Villains, who's a phenomenal local band. Certainly part like a massive part of the movement or the scene or whatever down here. Is like they started doing under Billy's like tenure here with Third City Sound. I started doing these amazing studio shows, which remind me of like. Yeah. The old Underground Warehouse shows when you were it coming up here for a studio show now at Third City Sounds makes you feel like a kid.
Oh yeah,
you're sitting up here and it's all dark and the lights are there, and the good people of the world have gathered around, and there's great music going on, and there's touring bands coming in and out from all over the country, and it's unbelievable. It's really certainly a great a huge part and a great part of the scene that happens downstairs.
And you were also talking a little bit about a few minutes back about Dave and Bill started helping with the Benefit records. Mm-hmm. The Benefit was. It was a 3-piece band that you had?
Originally,
that was after?
Originally, it was a 3-piece one. When Poets and Slaves kind of decided to call it quits or whatever, and everybody moved back, I had a bunch of songs, and I wrote a bunch of songs, and I went back to New York, and I did a solo record with Martin Trum. He had a studio at the time in Bed-Stuy in New York, and he was kind enough to let me come in and record the record there with some mostly him and I, but some studio people as well. And then I came back here, and I had this record, and I had a bunch of shows booked, and I had the record, and people like Mike Tamano from 105.5, which used to be over here in the Rialto building. Yeah. They really got behind it, and they put it into regular rotation. They were playing these songs, 20 times a day or whatever on the station in regular rotation, and it became very evident that I needed to be able to perform these songs, like not just as a guy with acoustic guitar, like coffee shop style, but with a proper band. And so, through some mutual friends like Mark Ellavella from EM Press and Greg Harms, who's a great local writer, they kind of took it upon themselves to, excuse me, to put me in touch with some great players that they knew, like the likes of Jeff Bella and that that kind of ilk. And so,
Jeff Bella, who was on the introduction of the show along with yourself.
There you go.
Little extra trivia for you guys.
That was a night.
that was a night. Really good night.
That was a fun night.
So we basically put this band together that was kind of just designed to perform the songs off that first record that I had done back in New York, and. It became this band, and then people came in and out of it. Some great players came in and out of it, and it wound up being for many years it was myself and Jeff Bella and Barrett Harvey, and then
who are both now in the Righteous Hillbillies.
Both of them are the Righteous Hillbillies. Both of them are doing very well, and they're just exceptional on all levels. And then Jeff Julian. At the tail end of it, unfortunately, we didn't know it was the tail end of it at the time, but he came in and added the fourth after we had done the last Benefit record was 11th Hour Grace, and we had done so many things on that record that I felt the need to to see if Jeff, who I admired greatly, still do, is a great songwriter, great player, great guy. His band Deconstructing Jim had just kind of
Deconstructed.
Yeah, right, for lack of a better term. And he was available, and I thought it was great. The timing was right, and the first couple gigs we played, I think we went down to South by Southwest in Austin.
Wow.
And did some things, and EM Press had picked us up and signed us for that record, and they had done some wonderful things with us. And unfortunately, it was just kind of the timing. The timing was what it was, and we had like a little last burst and a burnout, and then everybody had other things to do, and we've gotten on with it since. So it is what it is. and here we are now.
And you've done quite a bit actually since that time too. Yeah,
we put out the last record, kind of coming full circle, was like the first record. It was a solo record, and I had a similar, kind of a strange history repeating itself, but I had a similar situation where I was doing all these solo shows and these acoustic shows, and I had this record that had all this band on it, which was just kind of Dave Lill and Billy Aldridge and
you
and myself and everybody kind of playing on it, and so I ran into these couple of hooligans in the pub one night downstairs. Yourself, Tom Maslowski. For those of you that don't know, Tom is my bass player in the Old Gang Orchestra, and Donico Nudi, and then Pat Otto at the time. And we decided that it would be great to get together and play some songs, and play those songs off of that record. And then we kind of started to just do new songs, and I kept writing, and then recently with the addition of Kevin Krause, who's an amazing songwriter, of Regressors fame. A great piano player, great keyboard player, and great songwriter. And then the great Ellis Wright on saxophone. Now it kind of rounded it out now, so we've got this. It's become this sound that I don't know that was ever intended. It's just kind of organically happened, and
it definitely feels like home. Not that it didn't with the other versions, but it just feels like I
love
can't
it very
picture
much.
Without it now.
I love it very much, and I think that the new songs, especially. We're getting ready to go back in and do a record very soon, and I think that whether I realized it or not, this is kind of where it's always been heading.
Yeah,
and I love it very much right now. So,
and didn't Ellis Wright just bring like a magic, like a brightness to our crew of people here?
I do.
What a blessing!
Yeah, I think that, and Ellis and Kevin both to the band in particular, to the Old Gang Orchestra, but yeah, just like. Socially and in a brotherhood sense, or as far as talk about diving into the scene and becoming an actual staple. Ellis, certainly Kevin's been around for years and years and years, but Ellis is something special. Really, you guys are all something special, man.
Well, thanks. I feel the same way about back at you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too, Dave.
Okay.
You too, Dave.
Okay. Big Land, yep. Well, but that's a whole nother interview altogether, right?
Yeah, we should do that as well.
We'll talk about those guys on their turn. You get your own turn, Dave.
What?
What? But before I forget to ask too, you didn't always just play music. You are one of the people responsible for Chicago Street Pub turning into the music venue that it is.
Yeah.
Because you and Mike Trisna owned it. I don't know if Kathy was Kathy always in with you and Mike?
No, she just put up with us.
Okay. But I mean, it was you guys that rearranged that place.
Yeah,
put the stage in.
I met Mike years and years ago at another place up the road, and we kind of hit it off. And he loved music, and he was willing to put it with me whenever I wanted to play music, for him and his friends and stuff. And we became good friends. And Mary Goins, who owned the place prior to it being Chicago Street Pub, and it was Chicago Street Bar and Grill, was a great supporter of all those things. And over the years, it just kind of morphed into. I'd worked down there for years and years. Like the whole paying off the bar tab thing.
How many years did you work down here before you?
I probably worked there for 10 years before we bought it. And,
wow.
We bought it and opened it, like kind of closed it briefly, and then opened it back up at Chicago Street Pub with the idea of making it, like the home of original music in the area, and giving original musicians and original writers a place to play where they can feel comfortable and not worry about all the other things that people worry about when you're bringing out PAs and you're trying to play songs for the crowd. And we just wanted to we wanted to do something different, and that, and the obviously the whole craft beer thing that was going on at the time with the musicians bringing that stuff back from wherever they were traveling. It was early on in that game, really, to be honest with you. And Mike was just like he was the perfect guy to do it with, and we just decided to do it. We gave it a shot, and Mary was kind enough to facilitate that for us, really, we've carried on. And I haven't been involved in that down there. Kathy, Mike's wife, came in when I left when my first son was born. I sold my interest in the pub to her. And so they've been running it kind of as a duo ever since, and it's grown, substantially grown, and always kind of just it's like a great big hug for anybody that's traveling around the country or is local and wants to play their music and wants to sit and listen to the music, and they've really kept it alive. It's vibrant. It's really it's 10 times the place it was when I left it.
Well, yeah, I mean, even. Are you responsible for the Monday night jam or the Thursday night jam?
I don't know that I'm responsible for any of it. I mean,
you did start the first.
No, I mean, there were so many things going on, Tom. You have to understand. Like, I think it's all new, and it's all kind of morphed into its own thing. We started doing sessions on Monday night, and we had open mics on Thursday night, and I was involved in all those things early on because that was just easy. I mean, I owned the place. And we didn't have to hire anybody or pay anybody to do this thing when nobody was coming. I mean, you're sitting down there, we're going to do this thing and it's going to be wonderful, and then it's not. You're sitting down there by yourself for 3 hours and nobody comes in, and then over a period of time, because we were afforded that opportunity, over a period of time, then there's 5 people, then there's 15 people, then there's 30 people, then there's 60 people, then there's people coming in from Chicago, then there's people coming in from St. Louis and Milwaukee to sit in on these sessions and to be a part of this thing, and it just kind of grows in spite of you almost. It wasn't really like by design. Maybe, I mean, we thought it would be a great thing to do, and we had a blast doing it, but I don't know that it was ever. It certainly wasn't like a plan to have it become what it's become. It became what it became just because people started to spread the word. This grassroots kind of thing started happening, and people just started talking about it, and then people started coming around, and then everybody became friends, and then you realize that the talent level was insane out here. Like, an overlooked kind of insane town, like right here within like a 20-minute radius, were people that were playing all over the country all the time and didn't have a place to play right here. So Chicago Street Pub it gives that to them, and it's just grown, exponentially since the beginning of it. That
summer when we all actually decided, you, Don, Pat, and I decided to finally start playing together. That was a crazy summer.
Mm-hmm.
That was it was nonstop music. The open mic night. Remember the full band open mic night was a line out the door.
Well, you think about it. You think about, like, even just this podcast is a huge part of what's going on down here now. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys are doing it. I appreciate that you're having me on right now. And I think that, listen to you with Patrick Spearoff, with Brian Motel, with John Green, with Kev Wright, all these people,
Alex
Hoffer, obviously, and all these people that you've had on here. These people are people that you see 4 times a week. They come to your gigs, you come to their shows, and you don't realize that it's happening when you're in the middle of it. It's just, these are my friends. We've had great conversations. I love the way that guy plays. Oh, that guy wrote a great song. Oh man, this is so nice. And all of a sudden you turn around and you're standing there and you're like, there's 10, 20 world-class writers and musicians and guitar players and trumpeters, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but you're standing in the middle of it and you're thinking to yourself, we were talking about this earlier, like it's not something that you could seek out and find intentionally. It's just something that you're lucky enough to happen upon. Mm-hmm. And it's something that just kind of happens around you and in spite of you when you're just doing whatever it is that you do. And that's what makes it so great, because it's not prefabricated. It's not intentional. It's not, we all moved to Seattle.
Right.
Because there was a great band. We're talking about Joliet, Illinois. You know, I mean, like, it's not a place that people necessarily move to or come to, except me, apparently. but I mean, like, to realize that, like, the talent pool and the level of character and the just what everybody's willing to be open to is unbelievable. I feel incredible, like, all the time, just playing a little small part in it. You know.
Yeah, it's great. I get a lot of support, even when I go and try to do my originals where I sing and play acoustic or ukulele. Everyone's got something nice to say. Everyone's got constructive criticism. They're not trying to tear you down. No one says, "Oh, you suck," or like, "That was fuck." You know, everyone's just kind of getting together and, "Hey, did you ever think about trying to do this?" Or, "Man, that was great." I mean, you can tell it's genuine. When you get off stage and someone comes up to you and takes the time to say, "That was really great. I really liked that." They didn't feel like they had to. They didn't feel forced.
No.
You know, it's important, I think.
Well, there's no pretense to it. I think everybody's kind of...
there's no competition. No one's out. We're all out to make sure that, I don't know, everyone has a good time and this thing stays alive.
There were the same goals.
There would be no point in that. You know, there would be no point. And I think now, where it's gotten to now is an amazing place, because now everybody actually realizes, like, everybody's become very, very, very aware of the fact that this is happening. Mm-hmm. And so everybody kind of is a little bit precious about it, like, and kind of defends it and makes sure that it's welcoming and makes sure that it's, you know, even on nights where there's not a whole lot going on, the support down here is amazing, and you wouldn't want it to be any other way. So everybody kind of it's become home to so many people, and I mean, I don't know, could it get any better? I don't know, you know. I don't know.
I don't mind if it gets any better as long as it doesn't get any worse. I just don't. Oh, and there's the magic chimes.
It's our big room.
Signaling the end of this interview. We do have time for one more song.
Hey, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope I passed the audition, as they used to say.
I am so glad you had time to come on and do this. You're great to talk to all the time.
Hey, listen, I just want to again say that how much I appreciate what you guys are doing and the podcast, and certainly everybody involved in any way, shape, or form in what's going on downstairs at the pub. Mike and Kathy Trisna, and you know, everybody that came before us, and everybody that's down the road as well. We're gonna look forward to it all, and I'm just glad to be here, and I appreciate it a great deal. Thanks for having me out.
All right. The last song, is it going to be The Field?
Yeah, we'll do The Field, yeah.
All right.
Bodies in the ground. There's no parade, there's no holiday. It's just another working man that slipped away. Yeah. I hope it's safe and warm there when I go. I would hate to lay my head down in the snow. Digging mines, a tough life all around. But I pity those that dig the frozen ground. So hell, let's go down the fields where they lay the bodies in the ground. There's no parade, there's no holiday. Just another working man that slipped away. more. Go to town, take your hat off at the door. A long embrace, a story, and a kiss. It's the only place tradition still exists. Hey! So here, let's go down the fields where they lay the bodies in the ground. There's no parade, there's no holiday, just another working man that slipped away. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here, let's go down to the fields where they lay the bodies in the ground. There's no parade, no holiday, just another working man who slipped away. Hey.
Love that song. I would like to thank John Condron for making time out of his busy schedule and family life to get over here and do this interview. Love the stories. Great stories. I always like to hear about how Chicago Street gets started. Dave Francis.
Yeah, man.
After your long weekend of being on a movie set, I really appreciate you getting in here and helping us make this sound the way it's supposed to.
Non-disclosure agreements.
I did not mention any details about the new Meryl Streep
It wasn't even a
movie.
movie. It's it's the new Meryl Streep trailer.
It's true. It's true.
The Sheen
Hey,
Day
listen,
trailer.
I really appreciate it. Tom, Dave, thanks for having me on.
We
I
appreciate you coming on,
Thanks to
John.
everybody else that comes up here and supports this, and I hope a bunch of people listen to it. I hope wish you continued success, and I hope that you do well always.
I'm rubber, you're glue.
I'd also like to thank Bill Aldrich for keeping Third City Sound alive and well.
Billy.
And as always, this has been What's Going Down in downtown J-Town.
Yeah.